Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do a new project. I'll be using my M8108. Yeah, this is like my favorite pattern that I got, so I just can't wait to make a project. I'll be using pattern B, and hopefully I'll have enough fabric to do the length of pattern C. So pattern B bodice and pattern C length. Hopefully I can have enough fabric. I'm saying this because my fabric is actually a bed sheet, a queen size bed sheet from thrift store. I got it for possibly $2.50. It was like on 50% off on that yellow tag that day, or whatever color it was. So got it for very inexpensive price, and I just love this color. Definitely make me feel like Daphne from Bridgerton, the Netflix show. So yeah, I just can't wait to make a cute dress out of it. And this one is gonna be my lining for the bodice. And here is the interfacing. So I need to cut pattern 1 to 6 and then pattern 10 to 13. After you finish cutting your patterns, make sure that you need to mark down all the notches. Usually you can just use the scissor and cut one line on this notches thing. But for me, because I usually zigzag all the patterns or most of them, and sometimes all this little cut out, it just get lost. So I usually use like one of these water washable marker to mark all the notches. Just like that. I have all the pieces cut and marked down the notches already, so just want to make sure that I get everything before I start sewing. I'm doing dress B with the length C, so I need pattern 1 to 6 and then 10, 11, 12, 13. So 1 to 6 here and 10 to 13. I just want to mention that number 1 to 4, you do need to cut the lining as well beside the fabric, and number 13 you will need to cut the interfacing. Usually after cutting the fabrics, I just like putting the fabric and the pattern together and then just fold them and have the number facing up and possibly put them into a ziploc bag together. So when I start sewing and I follow the instruction, I can just pull out the number and just work with that number. It just makes it more like organized and easy to follow. I don't have thread that is the same color as the fabric, so I only have these two to choose from, and I feel I'm going to go with this one. The first step, I need to stitch the side edges for the front for this pattern 1. So I need to stitch from the end all the way to the notches, and here the end to the notches. So this is pattern B. On step 2, I just need to put pattern B and pattern 1 together. Like this, matching the notches, and then just sew the whole thing together so it should make the bodice 3D. Moving on to step 3, I just need to put pattern 3 and 4 together and then put them together with pattern 1 and 2. So here you see like the notches on the pattern, they're very important. I feel I'm just talking to myself because I'm such a beginner. I did not know about that, but like now I know. So it's like you need to put the side together and match with the notches. Like 3 and 4, the matches is like the one single triangle, and then when you match with the front borders, it's like 4 and 2, then it's like the double notches, the double triangle. So it look like that. This is what it looked like when you put all the pattern 1 to 4 together. So this is what the borders look like. And then now I just move on to the next step, step 5. On this step, we're doing the yoke and the sleeve. I've read this step, it makes it so important that I just organize all my pattern together and have the number, so I can just find all these like pieces, because like even just number 10 is like 4 pieces and the number 11 is like 4 pieces. So I just need to match them together and then look at the pattern and then just sew them together, and yeah, and step 7 to like put them over and sew them together to make the yoke. At first, I feel a little overwhelmed with like all 8 small pieces, but then after like sewing them together to become 4 pieces and then 2 pieces, it is so much easier to work with. So wrong side facing each other, and then you sew here, all around, and here. The same. After that, you will have the yoke ready, and then you can just pin them on the borders, matches with the seam line, and then just sew them. And then your top part is already halfway ready. You just need to do the lining and the sleeves. And now you just need to gather the shoulder area. You can see the notches and then just gather. I used to only sew one line to do get the gathering, but then I feel like sewing 2 lines more organized. It may take you a little more time, but it's like it's nicer to work with when you sew 2 lines. Now after you gather the top part, you're just going to put the sleeve together on the side. And then you will gather the edge part of the sleeve. You don't have to gather it too tight because you still need to fit it to your arm and the armband. So just a little gathering, make it a puff sleeve, that will be enough. Moving on to the armband, so you just need to find the interfacing and then put it on your armband and then iron them together. To put my interfacing together on the fabric, I just use low heat and then go up and down. Instead of like moving front and back, I just go up and down, and then they'll magically stick together. Next step is very simple. You just need to sew the armband together on the side. And then you just need to press or like pin this one edge for like 1.5 cm and then trim it, but I didn't trim it though. Now I just put the armband to the sleeve. I just match with the seam line and then just adjust the gather part to make it fit and then like pin them and sew it. Usually I try to follow the pattern, but sometimes I just like don't have time for it, so I just like make it work my way. When the sleeve is done, you can like pin them on your armhole, you know, the yoke area, and then just pin them, make sure everything matches. The gather part on the shoulder is on the top, and then the seams line is like by the arm seams line. It was quite interesting process to me. It took me a longer time to do it, but yeah, I mean this part is very important because the sleeve is like the statement of this pattern. So I really needed, or you need to like do it right or like make it look nice on this part. So just take your time and be patient to do it. So you just sew it from one edge to the other edge. Don't sew the whole circle. Don't sew the bodice area first, just like on the yoke. And then after that, you can like connect the bodice part, you know, so that the yoke and the bodice part of the sleeve are attached to your bodice. Now that the top part is almost done, I can already like imagine the dress. I really love the color and the shape of it. I yeah, so now I just need to do the lining and then the top part will be done. This is the bodice lining and I pin everything, so we just sew them together. I already sewed this too, and then this is like pattern 3 and 4, just you know the back and the back and the side, just put them together with the front. So step 36, I will need to press under 1.5 cm on the lower edge of the lining and trim 1 cm out. So here is my measurement. Basically, like I fold 1.5 cm here, and I just press along the whole side. And then after I iron them, then I trim 1 cm. So the whole line is already pressed, and now you need to trim the first 1 cm. So basically almost half of this whole thing, trim it. So you see I measure 1 cm right here, and then you just cut the whole thing 1 cm. After that, this is the bodice. So it's like right side together with the lining, and I just pin the whole thing like that. And for the sleeve, I kind of just you know, push it down. So you see this is the bodice and the lining, and then we're just gonna pin the whole thing, and then we're gonna sew it. So I sew the bodice and the lining together. It looked pretty normal. And then the next step is to understitch. So basically you just push this seam, and then you sew it so that will keep the lining, you know, down, so it's not gonna be showing when you're like wearing the dress. So the blue one is always going to show, and then the lining will stay down. I wish I could have sewn a little closer to make it look nicer, but this is how it works to like keep the lining down. So the bodice is all finished, and now we're gonna move on to the skirt part. I'm actually kind of worried because like this area is just like covering your bust, so I was hoping it would be longer, but this is how the the pattern looks that the one I make, so it's not that long. Moving on to the skirt area, so these are the skirt pieces. This is the front, this is the back, these two are the back. Before I start following the patterns, I just zigzag all the edges, so it'll be clean edges to work with. And now you're gonna like put two back edges together, fade right side together, and sew until the notches, you know, so you can put the zipper over there. But here, all the way down, sew them together. Do you get to see the marker is the notches where they are? So right side together, and then from here all the way down, put them together. So the back is done, and now you just put the back and the front right side together and sew them together on the side here. Now the whole skirt are together, so I'm going to like sew from one edge and one edge to the other edge here, and I'm gonna sew two lines, and then we'll gather the skirt. Okay, this next step, you see your bodice, so you get your bodice out, and then you open your bodice, and then on your lining side, and you know, you just pin around the skirt on the lining like this. So the lining and then the skirt. So the whole idea is like you put the skirt with the lining first, and then after that you will put your bodice in like this. So I already pinned it all around. Make sure that the seam on your skirt match with your arm seam on the bodice, so it will be like this. So I've sewed the skirt part with the bodice lining, and now I just need to sew the bodice, like fold a little bit and then cover this seam line, and then just sew them together, and then the whole thing is done. But then I just need to put the zipper in the back, like here. Here's the zipper.